He was born to two people who had lost all hope. A father who was nearing 100 years old, a mother who had lived her whole life without a child. And yet, Allah gave them a son, not just any son, but a prophet, whose lineage would carry prophecy for generations. This is not just a story of birth, it is a story of divine promise, answered du'as, and generational legacy. This is the story of Prophet Ishaq, Alayhi Salam. To understand the story of Prophet Ishaq, Alayhi Salam, we must go back to his father, Ibrahim, Alayhi Salam, a man who left behind his people for the sake of Allah, who walked through fire, who wandered through lands alone, with only his wife Sarah by his side, and who cried out to Allah for a righteous child. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous. Surah As-Safat 37:100. This dua would be answered twice, first with Ismail alayhi salam, then years later with Ishaq alayhi salam. The story of Ishaq's alayhi salam birth is one of the most miraculous births in human history. His mother Sarah had been unable to conceive her entire life. She had aged far beyond childbearing years, and yet Allah chose that exact moment to surprise her with a gift. And his wife was standing, and she smiled. Then we gave her glad tidings of Ishaq, and after Ishaq, Yaqub. Surah Hud 1171. Not just one son, but a promise of a grandson as well, Yaqub alayhi salam. In disbelief, Sarah laughed. She said, "Woe to me, shall I give birth while I am an old woman, and this, my husband, is an old man? This is indeed an amazing thing." Surah Hud 1172. And the angels replied, "Are you amazed at the decree of Allah? The mercy of Allah and His blessings be upon you, O people of the house." Surah Hud 1173. This was a moment not just of joy, but of divine mercy manifesting in the most impossible circumstance. Allah chose Ishaq, alayhi salam, for a reason. He was not just a righteous man, he was born into a legacy of sacrifice. His father was Ibrahim, alayhi salam. His brother was Ismail, alayhi salam. And through him would come Yaqub, alayhi salam, Yusuf, alayhi salam, and the entire line of Banu Isra'il. He was a pillar in the chain of prophecy. Imagine being born into a home where Tawheed is the only language spoken. Worship is taught not by words but by actions. The walls of your home echo with dhikr and dua. This was the environment of Ishaq, alayhi salam, raised by Ibrahim, alayhi salam, who had built the Kaaba, and Sarah, a woman chosen by Allah to be the mother of prophets. He didn't grow up in royalty, he grew up in righteousness. Allah had promised Ibrahim, alayhi salam, "Indeed, I will make you a leader for mankind." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:124. And Allah fulfilled that promise by granting him children who would also carry that leadership. We blessed him and Ishaq, and from their descendants are those who do good and those who wrong themselves clearly. Surah As-Safat 37:113. Allah didn't just bless them with children, He blessed them with generations of prophets. When Ishaq, alayhi salam, was born, it was more than joy for two elderly parents. It was the birth of an ummah, the starting point for the lineage of Banu Isra'il, who would witness the sending of countless prophets, including Musa, Harun, Dawood, Sulaiman, and Isa, alayhim salam. This one child would become the root of prophecy for centuries to come. How many of us pray and give up when it takes too long? Ibrahim, alayhi salam, made dua for a righteous child, and he waited decades. Sarah, radiallahu anha, lived a lifetime with heartbreak, yet she still hoped. And when Allah gave, He gave more than they even asked for. Comment, I will never stop making dua if this moved your heart. Like this video to honor every parent who's prayed for a child. Subscribe for the next miracle in the chain of prophethood. Now that he is born, what kind of life did Ishaq alayhi salam live? What lessons can we learn from how he parented, from how he passed on the legacy to Yaqub alayhi salam? And how did his descendants carry prophecy across generations? Let's now enter the life of a prophet, raised by the friend of Allah. Prophet Ishaq, Alayhi Salam, was one of the few men in history to be the son of a prophet, the brother of a prophet, the father of a prophet, and the ancestor of dozens of prophets. This was not a coincidence, it was divine selection. He grew up watching his father build altars, make dua, and submit to Allah in every moment of life. He was shaped by a man who, when Allah said submit, replied, I have submitted to the Lord of the worlds. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:131. Allah honored Ishaq, alayhi salam, by name 17 times in the Qur'an. He is always mentioned with love, honor, and continuity. And we bestowed upon him Ishaq and Yaqub, and each of them we made righteous. Surah Al-Anbiya 21:72. And in another verse, and we made them leaders, guiding by our command, and we inspired them to do good deeds, establish prayer, and give zakah. And they were worshippers of us alone. Surah Al-Anbiya 21:73. He wasn't just a name in a chain, he was an active reformer, a man who guided his people, lived uprightly, and passed on faith with devotion. Unlike his father Ibrahim alayhi salam or his son Yaqub alayhi salam, there is very little detail about Ishaq's alayhi salam life in the Qur'an. Some might say he was forgotten, but he wasn't. Because Allah doesn't highlight based on popularity. He highlights based on purpose, and sometimes the most powerful people are the quiet ones who raise nations in silence. Not every prophet split seas or called fire from the sky. Some, like Ishaq, alayhi salam, led with calmness, stability, and unwavering faith. According to some Israeliyat narrations, non-Quranic, non-Hadith Jewish sources referenced by classical mufassirun, Ishaq, alayhi salam, lived in Palestine, married Rivka bint Batu'il, and had twin sons, Yaqub and Esau. Reminder, these details are not confirmed in the Qur'an or Sahih Hadith. They come from Jewish traditions and are used cautiously by scholars like Ibn Kathir. While his father Ibrahim alayhi salam raised him with strength, Ishaq alayhi salam raised his children with tenderness. He taught them the legacy of submission, the importance of dua, the foundation of tawheed. And this spiritual inheritance passed on to Yaqub alayhi salam, who would later raise Yusuf alayhi salam, and whose children would form the 12 tribes of Banu Isra'il. One man's parenting shaped centuries of prophetic heritage. Think about this. You may not be a prophet, but you are raising someone. You are influencing people. Someone is watching your every move, learning from your prayers, your anger, your silence. The question is, what are you leaving behind? Comment, I want to leave behind faith, if that's your legacy. Like this video if your parents influenced your spirituality. Subscribe to revive the forgotten prophets like Ishaq alayhi salam. Ishaq alayhi salam wasn't known for revolutions or massive movements. He was a silent leader, a consistent caller to tawheed, a teacher of patience, a man who embodied humility, never seeking fame, only the pleasure of Allah. He's proof that not all leaders are loud. Some change the world with quiet, steady hearts. Allah says in the Qur'an, and we gave him Ishaq and Yaqub in addition, and each of them we made righteous. Surah Al-Anbiya 21:72. And then, we gave them of our mercy, and we made for them a reputation of high honor. Surah Maryam 19:50. What greater honor is there than being praised by Allah himself? Although the Qur'an doesn't give us his full speech, scholars agree that his dawah was the same message as all prophets. Avoid shirk, do good to parents, be just in your dealings, fear the day you will return to your Lord. These messages are timeless. And Ishaq alayhi salam carried them with unwavering faith. As his time drew near, Ishaq alayhi salam had already planted seeds. He had passed down the covenant. He had raised Yaqub alayhi salam. He had lived a life of obedience, gratitude, and patience. And now, the legacy would continue. Through a son who would face loss, trials, and dreams, a son named Yaqub alayhi salam. And from him, a prophet who would be thrown into a well, a prophet named Yusuf alayhi salam. But before that, let's complete the life of Ishaq, alayhi salam, with his final moments, legacy and lessons. Ishaq, alayhi salam, lived a long, quiet life. Some classical sources say he lived for 180 years, though this comes from Israeliyat, not the Qur'an or authentic Hadith. What we do know is that Allah granted him a peaceful life, righteous children, and a legacy that outlived empires. He didn't lead armies, he didn't confront tyrants, but he planted a tree of guidance, and from it would grow generations of prophets. According to classical narrations from Ibn Kathir and other historians, based on Israeliyat, Prophet Ishaq, alayhi salam, passed away peacefully in Hebron in the land of Palestine. He was buried next to his father Ibrahim, alayhi salam, and mother Sarah in the cave of the patriarchs, a site still known today. Note, this burial site is mentioned in Jewish and Islamic historical literature, but is not directly confirmed in Qur'an or Hadith. Unlike rulers whose legacy is measured in land or gold, Ishaq, alayhi salam's legacy was measured by faith. Through him came Yaqub, alayhi salam, then Yusuf, alayhi salam, then Musa, alayhi salam, and Harun, alayhi salam, then Dawood, Sulaiman, Zakaria, Yahya, and finally Isa, alayhi salam. Each of these prophets carried a piece of Ishaq's, alayhi salam, torch. He didn't die. His light just spread. What made Ishaq, alayhi salam, special? He wasn't the founder of Tawheed. He didn't face a pharaoh. He didn't part the sea or lift a mountain, but he preserved what others built. He kept the light burning. Sometimes the world doesn't need noise. It needs people who remain firm, even when the world forgets them. That was Ishaq, alayhi salam. A guardian of truth. Even in silence, you want to be remembered. Then remember this: the most powerful legacies are built in private obedience, when no one is watching, when no one claps, when no one says your name, if you pray in silence, if you cry in sujud, if you raise your children with taqwa, you are walking in the footsteps of Ishaq, alayhi salam. Comment: legacy is built in silence if you feel this. Like this video if your parents taught you deen without seeking fame. Subscribe to revive the forgotten prophets the world never talks about. We often celebrate big moments: the dua in the whale, the fire that didn't burn, the sea that split in two. But Ishaq's, alayhi salam, story is different. It reminds us that consistency is more miraculous than any one moment. He taught his people, led his family, upheld Tawheed for over a century, quietly, faithfully, without complaint. That is a miracle too. The Qur'an affirms, "And we gave him Ishaq and Yaqub. All of them we guided. And Nuh we guided before, and from his descendants, Dawood, Sulaiman, Ayub, Yusuf, Musa and Harun." Surah Al-An'am 6:84. This isn't just a list of names. It's a family tree of prophets, rooted in the soil of Ishaq's, alayhi salam, righteousness. One man's obedience resulted in centuries of guidance. Here's the part you didn't expect. You are part of this same ummah. You have access to the same Qur'an. You worship the same Lord. You make dua to the same Allah who answered Ishaq's, alayhi salam, father. So the question is not, why don't I have his blessings? The real question is, are you living like he did? You don't need fame to be remembered by Allah. You don't need miracles to be chosen. You just need to obey, stay steadfast, and teach your family La ilaha illa Allah. Ishaq alayhi salam didn't live for the spotlight. He lived for the hereafter. Comment: I want to live like Ishaq as if this changed how you see legacy. Like if you believe parenting is da'wah. Subscribe if you want your name written in the heavens, not in the world. And so the mantle passed, from the quiet faith of Ishaq alayhi salam to the resilient heart of his son Yaqub alayhi salam, who would one day raise a child who sees dreams and is thrown into a well. But that is a story for another time.